All right, what's up? My name's Eric, and I chose the word spectrum and phonics grade six worksheet specifically because that is the material that I am currently using for my tutoring. Well, the purpose of this material is to help learners recognize and pronounce the different sounds of specifically the letters C and G for that segment of the worksheet. It uses riddles, word recognition, and sound identification activities to reinforce these phonics concepts. So here's how the worksheet looks like. You can see at the top left of where the title is, it actually says that it is just a review. So that is like a summative review, a chapter review of the lessons for soft C and G. So, let's just take a look at the worksheet real quick. Has clear directions. It says you complete each riddle below with a word from the box, yada yada yada. Also has read the word pairs below, underline C or G sound you hear in both words. So it has clear directions and it's pretty well organized. So let's take a look at its strengths. Clear objectives. So focuses on mastering hard and soft C and G sounds. Activities directly Activities directly support the lesson objective. So let's take a look back at the worksheet. The objectives are clear. The objectives are, complete each riddle below. The objective is for mastery of soft C and G sounds of S. So activities directly support the lesson objective. If you look at the activities given, like fill in the blanks and so I call it underlining. In my opinion, it does a good job of supporting the lesson objective. Learner centered. Students actively complete riddles and identify sound patterns. Encourages participation instead of passive reading. So if it was just a normal lesson review, if it were a normal lesson review, it would be super plain and just have text for the students to read. But this lesson review has somewhat creative activities in a sense. Like fill in the blank with the riddle, underlining. It allows for the students to actually write during the review, not having to just read something verbatim. So yeah, it's important. It's good that you know they draw a clear, objective, and it's authentic to the point where the student can engage with the worksheet. Interactive, like I said, includes problem solving and phonics exercises, requires learners to think and apply what they learned. So learner centered and interactive goes hand in hand, authentic education. So you can see here that students have to fill in the blanks, the students have to underline, and that also means the student has to really read the directions carefully. Inclusive. So simple language suitable for different learners. Activities do not depend on specific cultural knowledge. If we look at the language being used here, I'd say it's pretty understandable. I mean, my ESL student doesn't really have a hard time, but then, stuff like frozen ants, walkie talkies. Some of them may seem a little bit not as inclusive. That's why I didn't give it a five. But for the most part, everything is pretty inclusive. Like these are words that is used by most parties or most people in life, I guess. So the student won't feel left out. So areas for improvement, authentic language uses everyday vocabulary, but could include more real life communication tasks. I feel like the main issue with this worksheet is that it is lacking like true authentic education where it's about putting it into work, into experience. And to do that you need real life scenarios, and these aren't really real life scenarios, like, not really relatable in my opinion. Attractive design, easy to read and organized. It is super plain. It's just black and blue. That's the only colors. There's no graphics or anything. That's something I think that needs improvement. Supports communication, not really. But once again, this is a worksheet, so it's kind of hard to implement active communication and values integration. This is where it's really lacking. It focuses mainly on phonics skills but doesn't explicitly promote values or character education. Only specifically in this part of the worksheet, but then overall it does, like in the actual lessons. But in this specific review sheet, it does not. So the overall score is the Spectrum Word Study and Phonics Grade 6 worksheet is an effective instructional material for developing phonics skills. However, incorporating communicative skills, attractive visuals, and values-based activities would make it more engaging and aligned with modern English teaching. So that's it for me. That is my Spectrum Word Study and Phonics for grades 6 to 11.